The Lewis and Clark expedition is one of the most valuable journeys in American history as it established and mapped the United States land west of the Mississippi River. The acquisition of the land during the Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the United States and made up most of what is now 15 different states. History.com states the Louisiana Purchase was a mass of land that totaled about 828,000 square miles and controlled part of the port of New Orleans, which connected the Mississippi River to the Atlantic Ocean. History of the expedition under the command of Captains Lewis and Clark was a journal kept by Meriwether Lewis, which accounted for the journey as they made their way to the Pacific Ocean. This journal proves to be a great deal in American literature by proving a first-hand insight on the journey. The journal is a direct account of the first Americans to trek across the Wild West. According to History.com, Meriwether Lewis was born in 1774 in the state of Virginia. After graduating from college in 1793, he joined the Virginia State Militia and helped to put down the Whiskey Rebellion. He later became a captain in the U.S. Army. At the age of 27, Meriwether Lewis became President Thomas Jefferson's personal secretary. William Clark was born in 1770 in the state of Virginia. He moved to Kentucky when he was 15 with his family. He joined the state militia when he was 19 years old and then continued on to join the regular army, which is where he served with Lewis. William Clark was commissioned by President George Washington as a lieutenant of infantry. Meriwether Lewis chose William Clark as his co-leader on the mission, which was given to him by President Thomas Jefferson, of exploring the lands west of the Mississippi River. According to the expedition timeline, Captain Lewis departed Washington, D.C. on July 5, 1804, and meets with Captain Clark in October of 1804. At the time, 17 members of the Corps of Discovery began their journey to establish America. Among those 17 members was a personal slave of Clark's, and later the company would add 7 more men and a Native American woman, Sacagawea, to the group. Despite one of the main purposes, all of the expedition being to discover a waterway to the Pacific Ocean from the Mississippi River, to the expedition discovered hundreds of the new plants and animals, as well as different tribes of Native Americans, but no continuous water route. Some key points that I found interesting during the expedition were the following. On November 4th, 1804 is when the corpse was introduced to Sacagawea. From that point on, she served the group as an interpreter along the journey. According to Drake, a common dish among the native tribes, which became a dish among the corpse, was canine. Many times canines would be eaten by the corpse along the way. Due to the frequency of eating canine, the corpse had preferred the dish over deer or other meats in January 1806, according to Lewis. On November 7th, 1805, Clark recorded that they could see the Pacific Ocean. On August 11th, 1806, it is written that Lewis was shot in the thigh while hunting. Despite the men believing that his hunting partner, which could only see out of one eye, was the one who injured Lewis, his partner, Pierre Crusat, denied such accusations. While this was not a major injury as it did not hit a bone or major artery, it was sure to be difficult for the travel. On September 17, 1806, Lewis and Clark met with Robert McClellan and John McClellan. One of these men informed them that the American public had given them up for dead, and they were all but forgotten, although the president had not given up hope. On September 21, 1806, before he arrived at St. Charles, Missouri, many of the inhabitants were delighted to see them. The Corps of Discovery finally landed in St. Louis, Missouri, having been gone for 2 years, 4 months, and 10 days on September 23, 1806, bringing a close to the great Lewis and Clark expedition.